Hi, I'm Suzanne, confidence coach and the founder of Absolute Confidence, where I help people transform their lives and learn how to love themselves, trust themselves, and be the best version of themselves. Let's get into my top 6 tips on how you can overcome perfectionism. Tip number 1, give yourself permission to be imperfect. Be human, not perfect. We were all designed to be humans, which means we are going to make mistakes, which means we are going to fail and things are not going to go as planned. Give yourself permission to be more open, to be more vulnerable, to go out not looking perfect and not being perfect, because it does not exist. Tip number 2, stop pretending to be somebody that you're not and start connecting to who you really are and what your real feelings are. You are not truly happy when you are being self-critical and judgmental. And you are not happy when you are spending more of your time finding faults than finding joy. Start working on yourself and connecting with your authentic self and becoming more self-aware so that you can start to lose the perfection persona. Tip number 3, set realistic standards for yourself. Now, setting realistic standards does not mean having no standards. It simply means just lowering and changing your standards a bit. And I know that for me personally, this was challenging. So you got to kind of go in your mind and reframe what that would look like. Because ideally the goal is not for you to be careless and to do things half-assed. The goal is for you to have more realistic standards so that you can start to lower these extremely high expectations that you have of yourself. Realistic standards are a different way of having standards that will actually help you get more out of life and be a lot less overwhelmed and stressed out. Realistic standards are standards that will actually help you do your best without costing you the things in your life that are actually more important. Things such as your mental health, your physical well-being, your family life, your social life, your fun and hobbies and leisure time. Tip number 4 is to develop a more realistic mindset. Perfectionists are super critical of themselves. And one of the best ways to overcome a perfectionistic mentality is to start thinking with a more empowering, realistic, and confident thoughts or affirmations. You want to write down and memorize and repeat a few affirmations that are realistic and say them to yourself all day long so that they're at the forefront of your mind. And here's a few examples that I give to my clients, and you can kind of play with the wording and find a way to make them really work for you that really resonate with you. So these are statements like perfection doesn't exist, nobody is perfect, I'm doing my best, I am a human and it's okay to make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, mistakes is how I learn, things of that nature, things that are much more realistic and confident and make you feel good when you say them to yourself. Tip number 5, compromise. Compromise is about lowering or being more flexible on your super high standards. For example, if you believe that making a mistake during a presentation means that you are a dummy or just not good enough, then you might want to ask yourself, what level of imperfection am I going to be okay with? And then from there, you can come up with some lower and maybe more reasonable standards that you're willing to accept and be comfortable with. Or for example, preparing for a presentation or for a meeting, if you usually have to have everything perfect and spend a whole lot of time or spend a whole night preparing yourself, tell yourself, This time I'm only going to give myself 2 hours, and set an alarm on your phone to remind yourself. And once you get comfortable with lowering and having more flexible standards and compromising, you will start to be able to do that a lot more over time with other high standards. And tip number 6, stop your excessive behavior. So if you're somebody who tends to check and then recheck and maybe triple check documents or your emails for typos or mistakes, you've got to get into the habit of catching yourself and then stopping yourself, or catching yourself and only allowing yourself to do it a couple of times, because you are wasting a ton of time. It is way, way better and far more efficient to just get the job done instead of being super excessive and trying to make everything look perfect. Are you bored? Am I boring you? If you haven't already, I strongly encourage you to go check out my other video that I made all about the 5 biggest signs that you are a perfectionist, and other videos that you will likely find helpful that I've made on the topic that are all very much interconnected with being a perfectionist are my videos on people pleasing, vulnerability, how to speak up for yourself, how to find your voice. Also another one on how to be more assertive and authoritative. It's a very loud helicopter again. And also my video on how to ask for what you want and what you need. And I know that you will find all of those videos very helpful if you are struggling with being a perfectionist. Also, if you go to my website, absoluteconfidence.com, I have a blog post there from Psychology Today that is called 9 Signs That You Might Be a Perfectionist. And I'll link that in the description box down below. So go and have a look at that. I'm sure you'll find that helpful as well. And if you're interested in having 60 free confidence building tips, you can also opt in and get all of those emails through my website as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. That would be amazing. And remember that nothing is more powerful than absolute confidence, and go out there and make it an awesome day and live life confidently. Bye for now. See you in the next